After reviewing this bill again and then looking at the correspondence that I have received, there are an awful lot of people that are concerned about this piece of legislation. And I would urge us to take it back, and maybe we need to reconsider this, to look very carefully over what we're saying. It's evident from the correspondence I'm getting that the public has major concerns about this legislation. So I rise to simply say I have a concern about it. We need to address it. We need to rethink it, because right now it's not being well received. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Harms. Senator Cornett.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I understand the intent of the bill is somewhat of a backdoor approach to banning wolf hybrids in the state of Nebraska. Instead of coming right out and saying we're banning hybrid animals, we are trying to effectively do so by saying they have to be vaccinated. The problem is there's a very good chance this bill will be obsolete by the end of the year. I have an article right now from the Wolf Dog Coalition that talks about working towards rabies vaccine. The in February, this month, after a thorough analysis, the USDA made the determination that all vaccines currently approved for dogs should also be approved for wolves and wolf-dog crosses. The mechanism by which wolves and wolf dogs would gain vaccine approval was with an amendment to Title IX Code of the Federal Regulations. The amendment, in essence, declared that all vaccines are approved for any member of the species Canis lupus. Thank you very much.
Thank you. On with discussion. Senator Erdman, you're recognized.
Mr. Speaker, members of the legislature, I appreciate the conversation this morning, and I'll tell you that if you vote to return it to select file, the specific amendment you have is to kill the bill. That's what's before you. The idea that we're going to talk some more about this bill doesn't get accomplished by just simply removing it to select file. If you'd like to delay the bill to a different date, there's a different motion you should have before us. This is a stall tactic. The other side of this is that Senator Cornett actually made the best argument for this bill that could be made. If this bill does not pass and the vaccine is approved, there is no requirement in statute that wolf dogs or hybrids be vaccinated the same as your cats and dogs. There is none. So if you say, well, this is going to ban them, and Senator Cornett argues that it's not because there's a vaccine available, then we actually need LB 25. Because without LB 25, we'll have individuals who will be able to maintain pets, who will be able to own these animals, that will not be subject to the same standards that you and I do if we own what we would traditionally call cats and dogs. So let's not get lost in the discussion. Senator Harms, there's a lot of emails that are coming in. There absolutely will be on a number of other issues that are going to be before us. The question that we as policymakers have to decide is, do we hold the same standard to those pets that we would other pets? The Ag Committee heard the bill. We have two members of the committee that have concerns about the bill, and I think that after additional information, they have that right. But if you want the opportunity to delay this discussion to a later date, this isn't the vehicle to do it. If your ultimate attempt is to kill the bill, then go for it. Here's your chance. You have two options. You can vote to return this to select file, and the specific amendment is strike the enacting clause, which essentially would kill the bill, or you can vote not to adopt the bill this morning. But if you believe, as I do, and why the Ag Committee advanced the bill, that we should have similar standards for pets, regardless of what their breeding is, and they should all be held to the same standard, that if we require a vaccine for cats and dogs, that we look at the same standard for other pets that may fit that designation. So, Senator Cornett, I've heard your comments. I've heard the same thing from some of the folks that are representing the veterinarians associations that say there are vaccines in the work. The question is the timing of it. Senator Langemeier has his light on as well, but I thought for the sake of the body I would give you a little perspective on this process, since this is the first time this has happened under this new legislature. But again, I think that this is a question we have to decide. Do we want to hold these pets to the same standard or not? And if we don't, then you're right. We don't need the bill. But if you argue that there's a vaccine going to be approved, then we actually do need this bill to be able to hold all pets to the same standard. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Senator Erdman. Chair recognizes Senator Langemeier.
Thank you, Speaker Flood, members of the body. And after Senator Erdman's little talk there, I guess first of all, I'd like to thank everybody for the conversation. and have enjoyed the emails that have come in, and many of them have indicated, especially the ones out of Oklahoma, Texas, and New Mexico.
Senator Langenmeyer, will you yield to a question?
Senator Langmeyer, will you yield to a question from Senator
Yes.
Cornett?
What is the current standard for rabies vaccines, and what the fine or penalty is for not having your pet enacted if it is not a hybrid currently in the state of Nebraska?
I don't know that right offhand.
Then how can you say we are holding these animals equal if, in fact, we are actually holding them to a higher standard than a normal domesticated household pet? Do you have your legal counsel? Could he answer the question?
I guess my question to you is we require in this bill to have rabies shots, which we require your domesticated canine that is at the same level. However, due to the fact that that vaccine, however controversial it is with the email, is not created, as soon as that is created, they'd be at the same standard.
If you do not have your dog vaccinated in the state of Nebraska, is your dog put to sleep within 30 days or euthanized?
I'm unaware of that.
In your bill, what would happen to a hybrid that is unvaccinated?
After 1 year, it would be euthanized.
I don't believe that that is the standard for dogs in the state of Nebraska. The other question that I have with the bill is, how do you determine what is a wolf hybrid? You said that you had testimony that these were easily identifiable animals. I've spent the weekend researching the websites of wolf hybrids, and a lot of these dogs, depending on what their genetic mix is, there is no way you could tell by looking at them if they were a dog or a cross. I agree with the concept that we should not allow wolf hybrids in the state, but then we need a bill that addresses that, but does not approach it through a vaccination standpoint. And Senator Erdman's argument that the reason that this is the reason to have them vaccinated because of the pending vaccine, there's no guarantee when that vaccine will come online. It could be this year, it could be next year. What happens to the animals that are caught in that loop? Looks like Senator Langenmeyer is busy looking for an answer to my questions. I will yield the remainder of my time to the chair.
Thank you.
If our intent is to make sure that these animals are vaccinated, that's what we need to address. If our intent is to ban wolf dogs, then that's what we need to address.
I would just like to react for a moment. First of all, I do understand that if we want to change this, we should have a different motion up there. My intent is not necessarily to stop a vote this morning. It is to give people a chance to speak their mind one last time. I have a big problem with this bill and the way it was presented because it was deceptive. We're talking about rabies vaccine, but that does not appear to be what the idea behind this entire bill was. And if that's the way we're going to operate in this body, fine. We devise our language in such a way that we accomplish a goal without being forthright and saying, this is my goal. Mr. Speaker, are there other lights on?
Yes, Senator.
Okay, I'll return my time to you.
There isn't a lot of difference anatomically or physiologically or maybe even histologically.
Those are pretty big words. I don't
anatomically.
understand them, Doctor, but that's fine. You go ahead.
A moment of your time. I'm going to offer an amendment here to bracket this bill until Friday. Senator Cornett and I have talked a little bit about a potential amendment, but it's going to take a little time to draft it. So I'd ask that when I get that up that we move on to that. Thank you.
I appreciate that, Senator Langmeyer, and I will return the balance of my time to the chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Howard. Mr. Clerk.
Mr. President, I have a unanimous consent request from Senator Langenmeyer. He would move to bracket the bill, or ask unanimous consent to bracket the bill until Thursday, February 8th.
Are there any objections? Seeing none, so ordered. LB 25 is bracketed until Friday, February 8, 2007.